please join me in welcoming Mr. Tim Church. You are a Junior Daffodil Committee member. How long have you been a committee member?
You know, I was looking at the information when I was thinking about today, and I've been doing it since the Junior Daffodil Parade went to Proctor, so 30-some years now.
Oh my gosh, 30-some years. And next to you is somebody who equally has put in as much time, the one, the only, Mr. Gary Grinley.
How are you today?
It's good to see you. How many years have you been at this?
The same with Tim. When it moved to the Proctor District, I got asked to help out, and I've just been doing it.
You've just been doing it. You know what? I have a feeling we're going to bury you both in the daffodil fields in Puyallup. How's that going to be? It'll be like, where are they? Well, they're over there. Yeah. So let's talk about, first off, let's get out the date, time, and place of the parade, Tim, because I know that it's April and the daffodils have bloomed and we had the princesses on. So now we're getting into parade season. So tell us all about when this starts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just around the corner for us at this point. Saturday, April 20th at 10 a.m. in the Proctor area. Right around North 26 is a good place to see the parade, and it'll be easy to find because generally the streets will be pretty well lined with people that morning. So we hope people come and join us. It's a ton of fun.
It is a ton of fun. And if you have never been to this parade before, it is the heart of what Proctor does well, and all of the bands and the schools. I don't want to give too much away. So Gary, speaking of, how long is this parade?
Well, it's about a 4 to 5 block parade. Time-wise, depending on how many groups and how fast and slow they go, but it can go from about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Yes. It is a great fun time for people to come see. We did go on hiatus a couple years because of COVID. We came back last year. The amount of groups was down because we were just getting back into it. What amazed me was the crowd. It was probably one of the biggest crowds we had ever had because I think people were just down with the COVID. Yeah. And we were packed 10 deep for the whole parade route. It was amazing that people came out for it.
I love that. I remember that. And it does take anywhere from like an hour and a half to 2 hours to get through it, but it goes by in a blink of an eye. Yeah. I mean, once the royal court comes around the corner, it's like, boom, game's on. So Tim, let's talk about, for somebody who is new to our city that went, wow, a parade? That's why there's this big daffodil in the middle of Proctor, right in that intersection. Who is in the parade, and how many entries do we have?
You know, one of the things I like about the area the parade is it's so kind of tight and compact, and so families get to be up close and personal to their kids, and we get somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 50 groups, depending on the year. It's been on the smaller side recently, but we're confident that the further away we get from the pandemic, the more groups are going to start coming again.
Oh, absolutely.
We get a lot of bands, which is always fun. It's an opportunity for middle school bands to get out there. Many times it's the first time they've ever marched in a parade for them. And then just small community groups,
Girl Scouts.
Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, sometimes the lawnmower parade group, just a little bit of everything.
That's one of my favorites, is the lawnmower parade, and of course our four-legged little friends here. You know, looking at this dispels the myth that we never have good weather. Well, it's kind of a hit and miss sometimes, isn't it, in terms of cold and also warm daffodil. So I love the fact that you mentioned the marching bands. They get a chance to practice. I live in the North End, and I got to hear Mason Middle School, which is no longer called Mason Middle School. Yeah. No, it is. It isn't. It was Jason Lee. I got to hear practice in our streets, and you would think that marching and playing an instrument is second nature. Oh no, it's the whole pat head rub tummy thing. It's difficult. So when we think about the criteria for people who want to participate, Gary, because every year there's more people, there's people coming back, there's groups that have taken a break but now have more help and want to be in it. What is the criteria? Can I just walk the parade?
You know, I always tell people it's not the age so much, it's your heart, if you're young at heart.
Oh.
It is geared for children. It is why we call it the Junior Daffodil Parade. It is geared for children, but basically if you're young at heart, because we've had people as old as in their 80s walking the parade and in strollers at 6 months old. So it's whatever group it is, we ask that the groups be focused on youth to participate in the parade. We ask that the big thing is this is a non-motorized parade. We don't want to mix cars and kids together in the same road.
Not a good mix.
And it makes it great because the crowd can come right out to the edge of the street and be right up to the parade.
Yes.
We keep it as safe as possible for everybody. So it's just a great, fun time.
It is, and it's tactile, like you said. I mean, the people who are lining up to watch the participants, they know them, they wave to them. Sometimes we get candy thrown at us. I mean, it is a total, you got to be a good audience member to stand there and watch this parade.
The audience is part of the parade.
It is. It is part of the magic. Speaking of magic, Tim, what's the history of the Junior Parade? Because we know we have the big one. We've had the princesses on, but what's the history of the Junior one?
Well, it's been around a while. This is our 63rd year.
Wow.
Back when I was young, it used to be out here in the Hilltop area, as a
on Martin
matter of
Luther
fact.
King Way.
Yeah.
I
So
love
it started here, and then in the 1990s, it had slowed up here, and Proctor volunteered to take it on, and it's been in Proctor since 1991 and going strong. Unfortunately, during the pandemic, we missed a couple of years, but it's just thrilling to be back because it's such a fun event for the community, and just seeing the kids and the families out there enjoying themselves. It's a really good way to spend a Saturday morning, I'll tell you that.
It is, and the local businesses that have breakfast and coffee are open. The Daffodil Court gets to mingle with the little kids, and the look on their face is just like a holiday when they get to see them. What is the theme this year, Gary? And then I want you to answer, Tim, how did they came up with it? So what's the theme?
Let it shine.
Time to shine.
Time to shine.
There you go.
I was.
That's
So-
all right.
So yeah, Tim will take over from here.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we come up with our own Junior Daffodil Parade theme. This year it was fitting to have the same theme as the Grand Floral Parade, so we're kind of tagging on to that, and it's a perfect theme for kids and spring and all of that, and we're hopeful that the theme helps encourage the weather. I'll say that.
Wouldn't that be great? Although I have to tell you, outside of the pandemic, come rain or shine, this parade goes on.
Oh.
It doesn't, it's not a fair weather parade. If it was, we wouldn't have this many years behind us when it comes to this parade. And people who have walked in the parade as preschoolers who are now in a high school marching band, that's part of that legacy that the Junior Daffodil, when you get to look at just the amount of time that people have been involved with this. I mean, look at the two of you, 36 years.
I mean, ironically, it's like one of the very first years of the parade in the Proctor District, my son talked me into building a float for him to ride on. So I made a chariot, and I talked the two pastors in our church to pull the chariot with my son riding on it. Now, I have a 5-year-old granddaughter and a 2.5-year-old granddaughter from my son.
And where's the chariot?
Well, the chariot is long gone now, but I might have to build a new one for the granddaughters.
Yeah, you are, absolutely, because you know they know how to drive already.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's talk about one of the things that I think a lot of people, once they've experienced the Junior Daffodil Parade, they look at it, they scratch their head and go, God, I can't wait for next year. And then the question comes up of how is it funded? Okay, there's this huge silence in the room. Tell me, how is it funded, or how has it been funded?
We've been fortunate to get a few major donations over the years. Most of it is a participation fee for each one of the groups. We've asked the Proctor merchants in the North End, if you go out there to any of the businesses, they are selling paper daffodils at the counter. They're posting them in the windows. It's $1 a piece. That's
a latte factor. Buy 20 of them.
Well, that's the way it should be. Everybody should buy 20 of them.
Right.
But
That's the bar.
That's been a good source of funding for the parade. And then this year, last year and this year, the Tacoma Events Commission, we've received grants for help paid for the compensate for it. I've been told that it looks like we're a strong candidate for becoming a legacy group for the city of Tacoma.
Excellent.
And if we do receive the legacy notation, a lot of the costs that we've had to been paying for to the city will be grandfathered to us. So that will be a huge way of keeping this parade going forever and ever and ever.
Yes, because things change, people change, real estate changes also. So when you think about, Tim, the 36 years that you have been an integral part of this, if you had to answer the question of what does the parade give back, what would you say?
I think it's pretty simple. The parade gives community. It gives a sense of community that is hard to get, really, today. You know, everybody's always doing a variety of things on their phone, using TikTok, whatever the case may be. And the parade gives us time to kind of slow up for a minute and just do something that's really simple and fun and something that you can do with a friend, a family, grandparents and parents and kids can all do it together. It's hard to put your finger on it, but it's a sense of community.
It is a sense of community. In this last minute, there's some thank yous that need to happen. Gary, who do we need to thank?
Well, we want to give a big shout out to Marva Piander.
Yes.
She and I had worked on the committee for years and years and years together. She has finally had to retire from the committee. She's undergoing some health concerns that is limiting her abilities. And we just like to honor her for all of her years of service.
And anybody who's touched this, we want to say thank you to.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to both of you for your 36 years of excellence. I want you back on the couch for year number 37.
We can do that.
All right. In the Cityline Comfort Cafe, the one, the only, Jeremy Simler will be on the comfy couch right after this quick break.